Hey folks, we want to look at the issue of is GLM 5.1 actually good? And previously we made a video just covering the basics because we have some results that were reported by the actual company, obviously, which is kind of good. And we made a short mini game. This one you see, maybe a few people have seen it around, but this is a one-shot mini game. But I want to share with Ron how good GLM 5.1 is. A lot of times they're comparing themselves straight to Opus, right? So even if you see on their usage plans, they compare directly to Opus. It seems very close, but reality is coming, and we actually did some tests. I actually did a 2-hour live stream testing GLM 5.1, and we want to share some of the results with you and some of our preliminary findings with you guys on how it works. So first and foremost, right? They compare themselves there. So anyways, regardless, first thing we want to see is the GLM 5.1 WildClaw. A lot of the guys run OpenClaw or even Hermes, but regardless, for agentic use cases, it should be improving. So far, what we have done is we ran a few tests, but we got rate limited just due to congestion. But so far, the results are looking okay. It's 37. I expect the number to go up a little bit as some of these tests were incomplete. Just because the servers were so blown up over the weekend. Right. Like we were getting rate limits, even though it was well within our usage rights. That was why it's scoring a little bit lower. I would say that there's a new update also on WildClaw. WildClaw actually measures real world use cases, right? So it runs OpenClaw and it does these tests in a real environment, in a Docker environment. So what's kind of interesting, what's new is that they added GLM 5 here, and it's scoring 42%. So yeah, I actually see it going better because for the test that we have completed on our end for 5.1, it's actually performing pretty well. Let me see if I can bring that window up again. Nope, apparently not. WildClaw. So that R1, we're getting like very, very high scores for quite a lot of these. So it might, near Opus level seems to be a reality for agentic use cases.
Yeah, I noticed search and retrieval.
Search and retrieval was actually skipped.
Yeah. Most of these are not completed yet.
Yeah, but for the ones that are completed, it's okay.
Yeah, scoring at 37.6%. Every day this is sort of growing because yesterday we did a video, it was like at 36%. You showed us in the morning, it was like 10%. So yeah, it's still running, right?
It's still running, it's still in progress, and it's just slow. And it is true that GLM 5.1 is very slow, but that being said, it does seem to perform quite well. So I'll show you guys another test that we did. So we went to try to make a game. This is Westworld Reverie Run. So I tried to make a much bigger scope this guy. So instead of saying, hey, just make a game that I gave it proper specifications. I said, okay, this is inspired by Westworld. This is a roguelite. That's something I want to build and try. And this is after 2 hours of playing. We have a full live stream if you guys want to watch that, but it's 2 hours of painstakingly going through this. So I wouldn't show, but I'll show you guys what it is. So it kind of built some good UIs here. It did screw up a few things, like disregard the graphics, right? Disregard the graphics, but it did screw up a few things, like the projectiles are meant to shoot, but the projectiles, the system for projectiles isn't actually handled. So instead of shooting, you're laying down mines, and these guys are meant to be shooting at us. So like these things are meant to be projectiles, not.
They're drooling, man.
They're drooling. They're not supposed to be drooling. Okay, so let's assume that something like this works, but. Something that I found out during development, and I'll show you guys the video on this very soon, but was that GLM was very good at planning things out, which was very different from, we actually ran it head-to-head comparison with GLM with MiniMax. So during this entire 2-hour video, I'll show you guys this video here. After the ads play, I don't want to play any ads with you guys. There's no point. After the ads play, so during the development process, GLM was very slow at the start. So it's very interesting, right? Because like what happened was that when I was running this test over this 2-hour period, it asked me the right questions, but it was very slow. And in the meantime, I was like, why don't I load it up with MiniMax? So MiniMax actually was delivering very, very quickly, but what it delivered was absolute garbage. So I'll show you the MiniMax result. This is the MiniMax result. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. I was just like, I was speechless. On the MiniMax result. So MiniMax came with this faster. So like given the same prompt, and I'll share the prompt with you guys. So I said, okay, make a Westworld-style game, and I put a bunch of features in there. GLM ran, but it took its sweet time, right? And eventually, what happened was that GLM produced something like this. The dev is still not handled. It's supposed to be handled, but it produced something that was workable within one shot. And I think that's the biggest difference in terms of coding experience I had between GLM 5.1 and MiniMax, was that MiniMax, I think it's really good for agentic work because it's really fast. It really comes out with solutions for you, and you can start tackling your problems. So if you're doing day-to-day tasks, MiniMax is okay, right? But GLM5, it took its sweet time. It took a lot longer to get everything started, but it did not have as many black screens. Yet again, you guys have to watch the entire video, but it didn't have as many black screens. And it was, generally speaking, a lot smoother in terms of development. I did compare it over to Opus. This is another game, like a similar concept I made with Opus. And Opus, the one shot with Opus was just much like, yet again, it wasn't a clean comparison. I'll do a clean comparison soon, but this was the one shot with Opus, and yet again, it just looks a lot better visually speaking. So, and it's hard to rate it because Opus, I did spend some time adding graphics. But that being said, in terms of mechanics, like bullets flying, having a sword, having a shield, it tended to one-shot development a lot better than GLM 5.1. GLM 5.1, even when it came to fixing projectiles, the death loop and everything, it was still struggled a little bit. But that being said, it's way cheaper, right?
Yeah.
If you guys remember when I did this with Opus, so this is the Opus game. Yes, the scope of this project was much bigger because it's multiplayer and it has multiplayer components. But that being said, I think on the first day of making this, I burnt around $600 on Opus credits, right? So that was not cheap. But with GLM, I just upgraded to the new plan. I tried to do it on a $10 plan, and I blew through the limits already. But now I just upgraded the plan today. So I blew it through here. So near here, I blew through everything, and now I upgraded to the $30 subscription. So now you don't see the usage because I just upgraded, right? But previously, I blew through here and I ran into zero. You can watch towards the end of that video, you'll figure out that. So generally speaking, my personal experience with GLM 5.1 is that it tends to think more. It tends to one-shot things a little bit better. And it's slower, but if you're running it overnight or if you're doing something and you're multitasking, I think it's great.
So where do we stand with Opus, GLM, and MiniMax?
So, okay, marketing material wise, you think Opus is up here and GLM is like here.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think it's here.
Okay.
All right. And I think MiniMax is like a little bit near. It depends on like what mood they're at.
Yeah.
But I do see, because GLM 5.1 is a newer model, I'm waiting for MiniMax to come up with a new one. But I do see that if you want to have an idea and you want to execute it, then GLM is like viable.
Bit competitive now then.
Yeah,
in the Chinese market.
Yeah, and especially GLM, because they're releasing the weights for free.
Yeah,
that means you can actually run it locally later on. So I think that provides a big advantage for people. But so far, like, I did encounter problems. Like I know what I'm doing, but
epilepsy warning.
Yeah, epilepsy warning. Yeah, I mean. Versus Opus, when I was like when I was using Opus and making this, it's like every feature just got, you write it, it's released, you write it, it's released, it's done. So I don't think it's like, despite what the marketing material says, it's not that close, because obviously Chinese are good test takers. Z.ai is a good test taker. Yeah. So yes, it's scoring high on the software benchmarks, but in terms of real world, it's still, you're going to come back to it, like, I would say 5 times as much, right? You'll still get your job done, but you come back to it, and be like, okay, fix this problem.
Yeah.
Fix this problem. Fix this problem.
Still at a fraction of a cost even after coming
super fractional cost. Like
times.
I ran this, if this was Opus and I did the same thing, I probably would have burnt through around $150 of credits. But think about it, the coding plan on z.ai, I was using the $10 per month plan. So I could have built this out easily within $10.
Okay.
So I think that's a difference. So I think it's still worth it to try. Obviously, we're always comparing to the state of the art, and obviously Anthropic can charge this much for a reason. All right, like they don't even give you API keys on the Pro plan, right? You go on Pro plan here, they don't even tell you how much you use, and they don't give you API keys. But the good thing of z.ai is they give you the API keys. You can take this anywhere you want to go. You can take this into Claude Code. So yes, so I would say, market material here, it's so similar, but I'll put it like here. I'll put it like here. I'll put it like maybe here.
33%?
Yeah, like it's okay. Like you get more for what you pay for, but it's still like if you want to save yourself from frustration, you still have to stick with Opus.
At least you get the sense that they're actually thinking. They have a good reasoning chain.
Yeah. And one note I want to say is that it works really well with Claude Code. Okay. I love their marketing too. It's like 3x the usage of the Claude Code plan. like they know what they're targeting. They know they're targeting Claude Code users. They know they want to target Claude Code users with that's budget restricted. You can set up with Claude Code, and it uses the tool calls very well. So it deploys sub agents. It used planning node mode very well. Everything about it was very clean. So I would say, like, if you're a Claude Code user or if you want to use it for agentic work, this is like, very, very good, very competitive. So yeah, with that, guys, that's our kind of internal review. We'll do more updates as things progress. And with that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Peace.
Shana now.